Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and call tonight's meeting to order. If I can have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, on to approval of tonight's agenda. There was a couple of things moved around on the agenda. One addition in the consent agenda. And then also we moved a couple of items out of the department reports for police and moved that up onto the regular agenda. And just one little addition on the EDA report. Anybody have any questions, concerns, other amendments?
I make a motion to approve the agenda with these changes.
All right, I have a motion by Dan to approve. Second by Troy. All in favor? Aye. On to the consent agenda. Any questions, corrections?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Pat to approve.
Second.
Second by Dan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, then that brings us up to Kent, the 2021 Street Improvement Project, pay request number 7.
Yep. Thank you. I do have a project update if we want to start there.
Go for it.
All right, so we have concrete and paving contractors in town in the month of May. Concrete.
Okay. Technical difficulties.
Thank you.
Concrete contractor replaced some cracked or settled panels of sidewalk, driveways, curbs, things like that around the project. And the paving contractor laid down the top layer of the asphalt pavement on the roads 2 weeks ago today. So there are a few kind of loose ends to finish up, cleaning the pavement off of like the manhole covers, the valve box covers. There's a couple underground sprinklers that need to be put back together that were damaged during construction, mailbox to put back up, things like that. Otherwise, I would say the vast majority of the major items of work on the project are complete. So that's where it's at. Okay. Any questions on that?
And that's those remaining items. That's pretty much what's left on the punch list for things to do. Okay.
Yeah. So I do have a punch list along with me that we sent to the contractor just today. So Zach, I'll get you a copy of this tomorrow. So just putting a trash car on the flare end, reinstalling a mailbox. We'll have to keep an eye on the turf establishment as that kind of fills in the spring here. So yeah, those are major things that are left to be completed at this point.
When's the walkthrough on that? Or have you guys done that already?
Did that in May, as they were going through the punch list and developing the punch list really for this spring.
Okay. And there'll be a final walkthrough, or is that done already? Is that part of that punch list?
Yeah, I would say after the punch list, after the contractor tells us he's done with the punch list, we'll go through it.
Okay.
Double, triple check that it's all done.
Zach, did you get a chance to look at that black dirt on Bell Street?
Not yet. No, I'll take a look
Okay.
tomorrow, and I'll let Ken.
On the east side of Bell Street, the black dirt and the seeding along there on the east side of the street, had a lot of sticks and stuff sticking out of it, like they use not too good of black dirt.
I'm assuming that the line of questioning that you want to be involved with the final walkthrough.
Depends. But yeah,
Okay.
whatever it is.
We can let you know when it's scheduled. Yep.
All right.
If there's nothing else there, we do have a pay request for the contractor. This is pay application number 7. It includes all that work that we just talked about this spring. The amount of the pay application is $103,932.94.
Okay. Any questions on the pay request? Okay. Hearing
Make a
none.
motion to make the payment for pay request number 7.
We have a motion by Pat to pay. Second by Troy. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right. Anything else, Kent? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So going to go ahead and move on to our next agenda item. So what I'd like to do is actually just kind of read something here. So Ernie, with great honor and recognition for your distinguished and dedicated service for the past 30 years, I want to thank you for going above and beyond for serving the citizens of Eden Valley. You were not only a police chief, but you were a good friend to this council and to almost everybody in the community. And on behalf of the city, on behalf of council, I want to congratulations to you on your pending retirement at the end of the month, and good luck to you in all your future endeavors.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
You know what, and this is a little unconventional because we usually have them come up and shake our hands. I'm gonna come and shake yours.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Good.
Stay standing.
Congratulations. Thanks, I appreciate it. Thanks for being there, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Don't forget my party, July 16th,
There we go.
7, Community Center.
We'll do an official flag then.
All right, then there's a couple of things on here. First of all, we did want to have a resignation. Kim Wood, who served as a part-time patrol officer for the department, has put in a resignation. She does plan on staying on, so her last day will be June 28th, 2022. Also want to, thank her for her service to this community and wish her best of luck in her future endeavors too. So, with that in mind, I'd like to make a motion to accept Officer Kim Wood's resignation.
I'll second that.
And it was seconded by Dan. All in favor? Aye. All right. So then we got the phone. So Ernie has put in a formal request to purchase the phone that he was currently using. He'd like to pay for that through reimburse the city for the purchase of that. Would like to mention that probably want to get a different phone number if you haven't already.
That'll happen.
All right. So, council?
How much is left on it as far as value? How long have you had it?
Not very long, probably a month. It's like 159 is what the total cost of the phone was. I'll pay all that.
I don't have a problem with that.
No problem.
All right. All right, then can somebody make a motion to accept the,
I'll make a motion.
Motion that we sell Ernie his phone.
all right, I have a motion by Dan. A second by Troy. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right. So now brings us to a discussion that we started at our last meeting about Chase the Canine. So I had asked Evan to come in here tonight. Some of the I know you have some preliminary numbers from the county, what they're.
I met this week with Chief Cruz and the county county administrator, and the dollar amount is just slightly under 20,000, so about 17,500 for the dog, and that covers the cost of the dog, training the officer, the time that they put into training the dog and getting it to this point. And then there's a kennel that's located at the train officer's home that involves being cemented in, so they're not gonna go and dig it up. So, and they put a price on it about 1,500, and that brings it close to 20,000. In talking to the sheriff, the dog is only 2 years old and is certainly trainable to go with another officer. However, they're open to selling the dog to us, so they want to recoup the cost. So if they're going to go forward, they don't want to go through the funds and again, they want to recoup the cost that they put into that.
So in your conversations with Brian and the county administrator, I'm guessing that they're pretty firm on that price. So it's kind of almost like a take it or leave it type deal.
You know, I mean, yes, I think so, and he's made it clear it's his budget that the next dog is going to come from. And granted, they can go and do the fundraising that was done before, but they also have to train an officer. Their canine officer has been given a, conditional offer here. So not only taking their trained canine officer away, so they're gonna have to train somebody else. And, he talked about how dedicated Evan was to getting the dog, that you have the energy and the passion to want to be a canine officer, and that's, he may or may not have an officer with that kind of passion that's sitting there waiting to be trained. They want to keep the canine program. He did answer some questions that if you, it's rare that the dog goes outside of its jurisdiction, but if it does, it's like a mutual aid. There's not, you don't bill the next city for the use of the dog, so part of that cost is within our budget to be used. But having said that, I think he's going to present to the county commissioners, if we said yes, that we would like to purchase it, he's going to present the cost the same way he did with me. So.
Sure. Okay. And so then that brings, you said what, 17.5 roughly?
Plus 15.
And then
Plus
the
the plus 15,
1,500.
so 19,
Yep.
19 then, okay.
And then I did call a place on the squad. I did ask them if they would sell us the squad, and he said, officer, dog, squad, no. So, they're keeping the.
It was worth a shot.
I got, why not? But, so I did call a place just on outfitting, and they gave a ballpark figure of outfitting the squad. They asked me a couple of questions on the squad, and that ended my ability to answer. I don't know the squad, I've not been in it. I haven't sat in the back seat, so I don't know what it looks like. But
They
it
could fix
came
that for
to,
you.
what?
They could fix that for you.
They could, but I think it's a good sign that I've not been in the back seat. But they did say it'd be probably about 8,000, pending the electronics, because I couldn't answer those questions either. So, about 4,500 for the thing you put in for the dog, and then changing out the back seat so that we have room for the canine and the prisoner. We have one squad. We have to be able to have the prisoner in there as well. So, and that, of course, is a one-time cost.
All right, and then that, how much did you say that was again?
About 7,000 pending. He gave me a ballpark with, I said, give me the high end, not knowing, are they vinyl seats in the back, are they plastic seats? He said sometimes removing one is easier than the other, and the electronics, if they have to change out the electronic, and you can speak on the electronic side of it.
Yeah, so the 4,500 is for the actual cage that Chase will be in. Very important that that's high quality. And I don't know what brand they have, but I have a Satina one currently in the county squad. And very important for safety reasons. The electronics she's talking about include, most likely include a center console, device that I can control fan speed, we can set a temperature for if it gets above a certain threshold in the squad. It will put the windows down automatically, beep the horn, and start a big fan to cool it off inside as much as possible. And that's, you know, in hot weather, the AC will be on, but if they, for whatever reason, the AC stops, that can help save the dog's life in many situations by cooling it off in there. It also has a door pop, which I believe was mentioned, a button on my belt, so that if I need him, I can hit a button and he is released automatically. Recommended, but not 100% necessary. In 2 years, I haven't used it once, but it's one of those things where when you need it, you want it. So, I can't speak for the cost on all those things. I know that when we bought the cage through Satina, that was about the $5,000 mark. And I believe when we ordered it, they said we would get it, but we ended up not getting that one. We got the better version for the same price because they ran out of the one we ordered. So I'm not sure how that played out in the end. But that seems about right for the electronics. When I looked, it was about, I want to say it was about $1,500 for the electronics for the squad that I currently use. So about the right ballpark. I'm not sure on labor because we purchased the kennel and the electronics ourselves. And then we had Davis Motors actually put it in. So they're the ones that outfitted the squad. And then the electronics was put in. This was when Randy Sealander was a full-time employee there. He did it while he was on the job there. Now he's for contract time because he's retired, but he comes back for odd jobs for the county. He was actually the one that threaded all the electronics through there and got that going. I can't speak for the labor because that was basically already in the county's budget.
They did talk about if we were doing a new squad and outfitting it, it's much easier. Because you're starting with a shell and you're running all the electronics along with the lights and with everything that we're adapting the current squad.
Right.
So we are getting that squad back?
Okay. Oh, they didn't total it. Well, that's
They haven't given the final, but according to the insurance, there'd have to be a whole lot more than
okay.
what he saw
To total it out. Good. Okay. All right. Well, that's in a lot of ways that's a relief. Yeah. So,
On the dog part, do they ever put them, like we have at the top of, do you ever put them in the back end of it? They always put them in the back seat?
They make some canine cages that go back to the tailgate. So it would take up that whole space along the side of the car. But I don't think I've ever seen one that only has a tailgate entrance into it. I believe that squad has the Satina drawers in it already in the rear, which are awesome. But as far as like safety of the dog, if we just put him in the back all the time, I would worry about like a rear end crash or something like that, where he would be in peril. He'd be easier to get injured if he was sitting in the back area. When I was commuting to training for the first 6 weeks, we didn't have the squad outfitted. I was still using my old one, and we put him back there, and it worked, but the guys harped on me for doing that because it's such a liability for the dog's health if I get into a crash. So, to my knowledge, I don't think they make one specifically for the tailgate area, but they do make one where he can go into the driver's side rear door, and there is a second exit for him in case there is a crash, and let's say they crash into the door, he can get out another way out the tailgate if we needed to. But for most, I don't think I've ever seen one that operates out of the tailgate, no.
all right. One of the reasons why I asked Devin to come tonight would be when you were previously doing the fundraising for the county, you had researched into some grants and, you know, some monies on that. So I invited him to come and share that knowledge here, that, you know, that even though we're looking at, let's say, $26,000 approximately, we might not have to foot the entire bill.
There's a lot of great grants, and I have them saved here on my phone. I searched for a while this afternoon, just because I didn't want to go back on my old ones that are maybe a couple years old. I want to make sure that it's current. There was one in particular, and for all of these you have to apply, and it goes through a process because they don't just give out the money for free. You have to apply for it, and whether or not it gets granted is up to them. And some have stipulations where, like, there's one that's $7,500, and that can be used for an initial purchase of a dog, or it can be used to maintain a program. So regardless of the situation that we're in, or if we purchase Chase, we would be able to apply for that and get some money back if they select us. I saw Wake Park, it's AKC, and Wake Park just got a new dog this year through funding with this grant. So, rather large department getting granted the funding, kind of gives me hope that we might be able to get a large grant like that.
Is that like a matching grant, or is that just a straight up?
Let me look quick. So it reads, one of the benefits of this alliance is the AKC Reunite. It's Adopt a Canine Cop matching grant.
Okay.
So if that answers your question.
Yep. Yep. And a lot of those grants are like some type of matching.
And so it reads, one of the stipulations is, if your department commits to funding at least $2,500, AKC Reunite Adopt a Canine Cop will grant your department up to 75% of your requested amount to a maximum of $7,500. So that would help, I would say, ease the burden. And then there's a laundry list of more. I got one more here that there's been awarded $5,000 grants before. And this one doesn't necessarily have a number, but it's the Canine Leap Grant is a canine unit funding assistance program. So there are options out there that we could apply for, and this is a long-term kind of solution. We probably wouldn't have that money to make an initial purchase from the county, but we would be able to get hopefully reimbursed for some of the funds through these programs. And I don't think it's too rigorous. I think we would be able to easily apply for these, and it's not too much of a hassle. I think I mentioned one of the stipulations was they like to be, you have like one little advertisement on the squad. It's like the AKC one. They want it to be on there, AKC sponsored canine or something to that effect. So we would have to be okay with putting that on our squad. So it's another kind of possible downside, but I'm not sure how big the emblem is or anything like that. That would be for something for me to look in down the road.
Well, if we're getting the Tahoe back, we'll have some real estate.
Right. I mentioned before, we just can't, we don't want it looking like a NASCAR car.
Right, yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with that. But, you know, if that's, you know, if it's, like you said, if it's not big and intrusive, it's, I don't know if we've done it here, but I've seen other communities do some, you know.
And I've seen them, and we talked about it with the Legion. Maybe they'd be able to fundraise or sponsor the canine in some sort of way. And beyond just people giving us money or these grants, we could maybe do something yearly at Valley Days where I've seen St. Cloud do it, where they sell little canine stuffed toys and they go like crazy. And that would be something that initially would cost us something, but there would never be a negative asset there because we can just keep them year to year. So they sell like crazy. I mean, St. Cloud had them last year at the canine trial. I don't know how many. We bought one. I mean, we bought one because it was cool. And our kids loved it just pretty awesome stuff for at least a fundraising aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, it looks like even with the, even at the, at the potential price that would be to, purchase and outfit a squad. I mean, we have, granted, we'll have to put the
Initial money.
initial money out there, but there is opportunities for us to recoup that cost back. So I guess the main question is going to be is, do we? Like I said before in our, when we talked about it the last time, I think in a lot of ways, it could be an asset to the community. Also it'd be good PR. Lord knows this day and age, people in law enforcement need some good, need some good PR, and that could help, at least in my opinion,
Would you maintain it as a bite dog, or would you change its certification to?
I believe we spoke about that during the interview. So right now, he's what we would consider a dual-purpose dog. He does apprehension work, patrol work, and he does narcotics detection. I would be fine maintaining both. What I was worried about in the interview was adding on the additional job duties of chief, along with what I already have to do, and maybe not having enough time to properly train both aspects. I would be fine with doing both, but if it was a time constraint thing and it got to the point where I can't put the proper time into the patrol work, it would reduce the liability for the city a little bit because of, you mentioned it, the state of affairs police are in. By reducing him to just a single purpose dope dog, narcotics dog, I can tell you from 2 years of experience with him working for the county, 99% of my work has been narcotics detection. There was only one instance where I did a track, and the guy ended up giving himself up to perimeter units while I was tracking him. That was the only instance of let's find a guy we've had. So as far as uses, I don't think we'd be missing out on a lot if we reduced him to a single purpose dog. I'm open to that, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. But that would be a discussion we could certainly have if you guys are leaning towards that.
I guess I didn't care either way. I was just wondering what your actual thoughts were on it, because we talked about it at the last meeting, so.
Is that hard to change the dog's mindset? I mean, because you got 2 years of training into it, so now you gotta try to detune it, per se, you know what I mean, on the bite side, if that's I don't like to use the word bite. Yeah, I don't like that word because it's,
Negative connotation.
yeah, I just don't like that. I love dogs. I got big dogs too, miniature dachshunds, love them to death. So I get very cautious on that word.
Sure.
I guess I'm kind of apprehensive on this. It's a lot of money, what value other than, I understand, like you worked with Chase. What value does it, I know it's got a lot of values. I understand that. But if I'm on the fence on this, how can you sway me a little bit to really look hard at this? I guess where I'm coming from is when I'm looking at it, I was kind of in the mindset we're looking for a chief, and very good candidate, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't necessarily thinking on the dog side. And when I see the money side of it, it kind of scares me. It's a lot of money. What aspects does that, sell me on it, I guess, if you will.
So that's a loaded question, so I'll try to handle it.
See, I like the guy already. This is good.
So you first talked about the mentality of the dog and being able to take that patrol work side, and let's call it patrol work. Let's just call it patrol work. The reason why I love that dog is because he is very good at turning the switch off. He is around my family. He's at home right now with my family. I have no worries about that. He can turn that switch off, and there's no aggressive side to him at all. He's a lovable dog. When we do DARE graduations, when we do demos, I give all the kids opportunities to pet him, and it actually spoils him. It's horrible, actually, because he gets way too much attention from that. But that's why I love that dog, and I've actually set him up for success in that way, to be a social dog. And so if we took that away from him, I don't really think we would see a big difference. I think he would still be that same dog. Truly, I do. We wouldn't see that side of him, because to activate that side of him takes a little bit of working up to get to that point. It's not just, he just goes. You have to work him up, and I could go into detail about that, but that would be a little bit much. You have to get him worked up into that mental state for him to get ready for that patrol work. And so if we just don't do that, he wouldn't just snap into that mindset out of nowhere. Very well trained. Like I said, he can flip that switch off and go right back to being the cuddly dog that he is, if you can believe it or not. I don't know. Reasons why we should have him. He's done great work for the county and the city already. We have a large quantity of narcotics under our belts already, and I don't see that stopping. I really don't. I can't get too many details about it, but in the last month, so I've been back for somewhere around 6-7 weeks or so. But since I've been back, I've had, I said at the interview, and on top of that,
I'm not, I guess,
there's been a lot of opportunities for me to utilize
would
him.
you be interested, I don't know if it's a possibility, I see a bright side to this. High school, elementary, going through searches. I don't know if that's legit, I don't know. You know what I mean, if you were to, no, I'm just saying, like, you take the dog in, you walk, say, hey, we're gonna check for, that's the bright where I'm seeing it.
I see, I get it.
You know what I mean, because you're otherwise, how else, I mean, I kinda look at it like, we have a canine, but is it, I don't wanna, I hate to use the presence, because I don't think it's gonna deter outside people from doing what they're gonna do, just because they think we have a dog. You know what I mean? I don't know if that changes.
So you're wondering what uses, you don't understand the uses of the canine beyond maybe just going through PR stuff, demos?
No, they definitely are very good asset. That's not, I'm just saying for like us, the small community, the price tag that goes with it.
Sure.
How do you justify it, I guess, is what I'm looking at.
And I think in the long run, with these grant applications, we would be able to offset a lot of that cost. I spoke briefly, I think, to Cindy about the yearly costs after this somewhat expensive initial cost of purchasing him from the county and outfitting a squad. The yearly annual cost to maintaining the program, it's almost nothing, really. In my head.
You'll learn you don't use that term with Cindy.
But it's probably no different. In all reality,
We've heard that.
but in all reality, it's probably no different than a regular homeowner having a pet. I mean, there's definitely more money. I understand the type of animal he has. I understand that, but it's not really that much different than a regular homeowner if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing for your animal.
And Watkins Vet sponsors him, and I don't see them stopping. So we get free vet care through them, and that has included in the past. I had to bring him in. He'd broken a claw, brought him in, and they fixed him up for free. That's just their sponsorship of us. Free heartworm, flea tick, that all comes with it. I think that the city would benefit in not only what I could do with him in town and what I've already done with him in town, but maintaining the relationship with the county as well, because as you mentioned before, assisting them and even going up north into Stearns County to assist if they need something. Just being able to give back to the county that does assist us when we need it could be so valuable. You know, I know that the task force loves calling me and they love to utilize me on whatever they might be digging into in Meeker County. And I think that would actually help the working relationship between us and them. I believe the county is going to use the money that we give them to get another canine, and I believe they will. And so effectively, we could have almost daily coverage with the canine on if we work together with them. So if you have a dog, and you kind of mentioned this before, if you have a dog that you're utilizing a lot, the word does get around. And I do think that there is a certain aspect of proactive patrol that comes along with it, just by having that name and having that dog. And it really just comes down to what he's used for and how often, you know, just like anything else.
I said at the beginning, I like to ask questions. You're gonna find that out real quick.
Sure.
I'm not against it. I would just like to see it's a big chunk of money. And I definitely think there's a reward factor to it, obviously. I mean, it's, we wouldn't be having this conversation otherwise. If we actively seek these grants out to help lessen that burden, I don't have a problem with it. I guess that's in a nutshell where I'm going, but I'm asking the question because maybe there's somebody else out there and be like, well, they're spending this much money on a canine. That's what I'm just saying, can kind of sell me on it a little bit, but like I said, I'm not against it. If we can actively seek these grants out and do what we can on it to lessen the burden, I guess, I don't have a problem with it.
And I think that's the probably the big key on this is that, and because next Tuesday, Brian's planning on presenting to the county our intentions if we decide to go through with that. So we probably need to give Brian some type of answer either way, based off of our, based tonight, basically. But like what you were talking about, I mean, if we pursue all the grant options, we talked to different nonprofit organizations in town here. I think if, we went to Lions Club and said, hey, would you like to help sponsor Chase? I think they would throw some money in the ring in there too. You already mentioned the Legion. Legion might be willing to put in a little bit of money there too. So I think in the end, yeah, we'd have to cut that initial check. But I think in the long run, it's going to definitely be less than that.
One thing is with this whole thing, Ernie, he ran a great department, and congratulations for that. We're starting a new era in our police department, bringing in a new chief, and with the dog, it's kind of building more of a department, working with the school more, or going through like Troy mentioned, checking things out. That's a plus, I think, and that problem's not going to go away with drugs and things like that. So I think it's kind of a building. It's a lot of money, but it's a building a new department and building maybe a better department by having this dog come with them.
We're building a new department for a new era with more capabilities. And that, I guess now that I just said it out loud, you look at it that way, there's a lot of pluses in that. And to me, it would be worth the investment. So, Pat, I know you've been really quiet over there tonight.
Just been listening.
Okay, all right.
I'm not against having the dog. Like I said, the huge price tag kind of makes a person pause just at least for a minute to think about, is this truly the right move? But like you said, with the fundraising and the grants, you know, if we can at least cut that cost in half, that would be very nice. But I know that we're not gonna be able to do that right out of the chute. That's gonna have to be something that's coming, you know.
All right. Well, with that in mind, I'll move the discussion to a formal motion. Since I guess I've been kind of the most vocal about it so far, outside of Troy. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we proceed forward with the purchase of Chase from Meeker County to the, what was it, the tune of 17.5 for the dog, and then another 1,500 for the kennel that comes with it. You sure they don't want that back? I'm thinking we could probably get a couple of volunteers to dig it up.
Well, they did concrete, and I don't know, I'm not a concrete
Yeah,
guy, but they actually bolted it in after.
yeah.
So I think we could pull it, I think we could pull it out.
I like to kid every once in a while. I probably shouldn't do that sometimes, but I do.
During your-
So, yeah, I'll finish my motion. So with that, for a total of 19,000, to the county. So, do I have a second?
I can second that.
All right, I have a second by Pat. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. And then Cindy, if you know, when you give Brian the news, if he would like a representative from the city to be there.
He said he did not feel like he needed one, so.
Okay, all right, then,
He'll be bringing it next week.
okay, sounds good. All right, well, thanks, Evan.
We have to do anything with the car, the,
I think we need to figure out, you know,
on
when,
the kennel part of it.
yeah,
You know, we'll put out for bids on where the best
Okay.
place to get one. I was talking to, the lease fleet on the squad anyways, just to see what was out there and what they had. They had a couple of, if we needed to, if they told it, and so he had referred me to them because they use this company for fitting squads for, canines. So I just called just to get some numbers.
yeah, I think we table that until we got some numbers to work with and, you know,
Yeah.
some options to, you know, and when we do, definitely would like to have you part of that conversation.
Yeah, I could reach out and see, what Randy's charging and how much time he spent on setting the first one up. Because if it's cost effective to keep that local, if we just buy the cage and electronics and have Davis put the cage in and then Randy put the electronics in after, that might be an option too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll need to get a couple of bids, yeah, just keep everybody honest. Yeah, so, all right, well, with that being said, thanks for coming in, Evan.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to boards and commission reports. First one up here is on EDA. So the EDA met a few weeks ago, actually. And we had discussed the purchase of 334 State Street North. So that's the White House right next to the, well, in between the old post office or the old chiropractic and the community center. That is, so the EDA decided to pursue that and offered the current owner $25,000 for the property. And they had accepted. So the EDA wants to bring forward to council for their approval of purchasing that. Oh, and also demolition of that property. Do you remember what the quote was on that? I think it was
10 to 12.
10 to 12? Okay, yeah,
I know they're getting a second quote.
second quote, yeah, but ballpark would be that 10 to 12 to demo it.
And this money, the 25,000 is not coming out of the city, it's coming out
Out
of
of
the
the
EDA
EDA's
money.
budget. Yeah, and they've got
And their hopes is to turn around and sell that lot to a business to build or.
to build, yeah, eventually, yeah, once they get get the house out of there, get it removed, get it filled in. Yeah, the idea would be to put it on the market to sell.
Second. piece to that is, the EDA chair spoke to the business owners at, the little building
The
that's
old
there.
post office, yeah.
The old post office, and he's open to selling, and they do have, two of the EDA members are talking to a business who would like to build on that lot, so they may already have the two lots, if they do the two lots, join them and sell them, that they are working with the business. So our hope is to recoup
Mhm.
whatever it costs, so it goes back into the EDA and do it again.
Yeah. Individually, I think those lots are pretty small.
Yeah, they're small, but they're deep,
Yeah.
actually.
But, you know,
Yeah.
most places want
They want, yeah,
street front. They don't necessarily care about the depth.
yeah.
So if they can get a second building and
Mhm.
build that one, that'd be a nice lot, so might involve a tree removal, but, you know.
It's a big tree.
That's a big tree. But regardless, you know, that's what the, yeah, but you know, that's what the EDA is charged at looking at doing, is how to promote economic development in the community, and it looks like they've got a potential plan of.
Start.
Yeah, a start, yeah, yeah, so with that in mind, you know, it's just more that they wanted to, bring it forward to ask, you know, just, get our blessing on that, so.
Do you need a motion for that?
Yeah, we'll take a motion for that.
I'll make a motion that the EDA purchases 334 State Street North
All right,
for a cost of, what'd you say, 25,000?
25,000. All right, I have a motion to approve for 25. I have a second by Dan. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Okay, then on to planning commission. So looks like we've got a site permit for a new home and an address change.
So, this is in the Jack's Edition. It's on the corner lot,
Brooks and
Brooks and
Jackson.
Jacqueline Lane. They requested the address change because the driveway will be coming from Brook Street rather than Jacqueline Lane. So it only makes sense to have the address on the same street as the driveway. Everything meets the criteria of the depth and sides, you know, meets all the building criteria for the site permit. And it's being done by the UCAP, so.
UCAP, which we'd already been, well, it's been a couple of years, you know, thanks to the pandemic, but that we worked with them to
get some housing.
Get some housing going in here, yeah. And if I'm looking at this right, that also includes a garage?
There will be a garage
Okay,
on one end or the other, I don't remember which, looks like it's on the,
on the
South
south
end.
end, okay. Okay. All right, so I guess we gotta do two motions, right? One for the site permit, and then one for the address change, or we do this all in one? Okay. All right, so I will go ahead and I'll make the motion to approve the site permit for site permit and address change for what was currently 213 Jacqueline Lane to 677 Brooks, for the build of a new home and garage.
I would second it with the caveat that we have it, the survey markers. Get it correctly, are the property survey stakes marked? That's part of the site permit, we have to have that done.
I would assume down there it'd be quite easy for them to do
I
that.
would think so.
I think they've been asked to mark both, I know they marked where the home is going to be placed, and
They did mark
I
it.
don't believe they've marked the survey line.
I would just
but
like
they
to,
were asked
just,
to.
we keep it,
Mhm.
we're well within by the picture, but that's part of the application. So,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's not an unreasonable ask, so. All right, so I'll consider that amendment to the initial motion. So the motion on the table is to approve the site permit and the address change on that lot, and with the amendment of asking to make sure that they have the property marked. The boundaries marked, okay. All right. So and then, yeah, it was you for the second, so then I will, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Okay, so that takes us, was there any rental updates, Cindy? No, okay, all right. And then bills for May 2022?
I have a question on the one for DG Minnesota CS 2021 LLC. What's that for? $144.33.
It looks like. So, 171.
Is this our address?
Yes,
Yeah.
what does that number go? I forgot, 14433. 4.
Yeah, it's like the second to the last line. I told you that, I suppose, right from the get-go, huh?
That's okay there. Oh, I said it looked familiar. That's the solar farm.
The solar farm.
Oh, okay.
NextEra Energy, but that's their billing
Okay.
company.
Did you change that at all so it represents different in here, or do you always write it out to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they changed it at some point from NextEra.
Oh, okay, so that's why it looks different, okay. All right, any other questions on the bills?
Make a motion to pay the bills?
All right, I have a motion by Pat to pay.
Second.
Nope, that's Thielen well.
Oh, sorry.
Wrong one.
Maybe there was one, but not that one.
No, you're good.
All right, does that mean
we're good, we're good.
you gonna second
we're
then?
good. Yes, second.
All right, then I got a second by Troy, all in favor?
We're good.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, departments, Cindy.
I did put the financials for May, your monthly report in cash and investments. We currently have $3,460,481.98.
You know, that's such a nice looking number, but I know it's not. That just means we got some LGA payments, or?
You know, August is our big bond payment
Payment.
time, so that was
So that will mean,
Well, we don't have any tax payments in, because June and July is when we get all the tax payments in.
Yep.
So income and special assessments and taxes will be coming in, and the
So it'll look nicer.
so we'll, yeah, so it could end up looking
So
nicer,
it'll go up,
all
and
right.
then the bond,
The bond will knock it down a little bit,
Yeah,
yep,
yeah.
okay. Ebbs and flows,
but it's a good,
that's,
it's a healthy, well, like the auditor said, it's a healthy balance, so.
We just spent 128,000 of it already.
yeah,
103 to Geisler, bought a dog.
Yep,
We're
yeah.
going.
No, the payment that
And
goes out.
Zach's not done.
Yeah,
The
Zach
pay
hasn't even
request
started
number
talking yet.
7 will then be sent to PFA, which will get funds that come in so that it's offset by our
Right.
bond payments, so.
Okay.
Some of that isn't all in one chunk.
all right,
I don't really have anything else to report.
okay, all right, anything for Cindy? All right, Zach, how big's the check gotta be?
0 for now.
They always say that.
She's gonna, she's gonna.
Reach back out for that.
Do another
Well, what-
street project?
What's that?
Do another street project?
In a couple of years, maybe, huh?
Wow, that trauma is wearing off already, huh?
Yeah. So,
Good.
it went well.
Yeah, no,
And it looks really nice down there. I just got, with the recent storm, we had a little cleanup from that, no big trees for the city that fell down, so. Just cleaning up catch basins and took like a day and a half, but we got there.
Who, cleans out the creek?
Who cleans out the creek?
One that goes along here, if there's like tree branches that falls in there, cause when you walk down past the bridge here,
Yep.
and you look towards the west there's a bunch of branches laying in there. I don't think it's stopping any flow of the water, but, you know, if you start getting some debris in there, that's gonna start clogging up.
They just didn't come down.
They,
They've been there for a while.
I don't know
That's
if
our
that's,
hope.
That's part of the ditch.
Maintenance. Mhm.
That's what I mean,
Yeah, if there's a stick in the creek when you live there, hopefully you pull it out. That would be the preferred method.
that would be me, I would pull it out, but
Well, I think we could start by finding out where they are and sending a notice to the property owners. Not all property owners know that that's theirs. And send it to them and tell them and if they don't, then, you know, at least we'd notify them that that's also part of their property.
yeah, cause there's two of them in there, and I think if they were both get swept in, you know, where they get swept in, and then pretty soon eventually you're gonna have a dam there,
Yeah.
It goes to it just west of the bridge.
right? Mhm.
And other than that, we're spraying at the ponds like crazy to get rid of the water, so quit raining, that helped, but
I was gonna ask, with all that rain that we've gotten, is that puts you above schedule for water you're taking in there?
we're a little above, but not crazy, so.
Okay.
Mark said he's seen days where like it pumps 1 million gallons and we're only at 200,000, so we're doing all right.
Okay.
Yeah,
With the new project down there, water.
it had,
Should be down.
yeah, it had helped a lot, and now with this rain, now we're kind of creeping back up, but,
My rain gauge showed 2 inches from this last weekend. so
right, yeah, so,
Yeah, I'm sure that doesn't help.
Even if it's just 2 inches into the ponds.
right.
It
It's
adds
a
up.
whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, it adds up quick.
Yes, it does, so, but we're keeping up, so we're in good shape.
Okay.
Was there damage at the park? The fence? No, Fred's, okay.
There was a branch that fell on one of the older fences, but it didn't cause any damage, so.
Good.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Was there some shingles on the street over here?
A couple of them off of this roof here.
Okay. Do we need to look at replacing the roof on?
I'm gonna take a closer look at it here.
Okay.
I get the bucket truck and go up and see how it looks close up, so.
Speaking of that, and I don't know if that's necessarily Zach's area, but the Speakeasy, or the old Speakeasy, the big chunk of shingles siding or shingles that came off the top of that thing. Yeah, how long do we give them to repair that? Obviously, it's only been a few days, but, you know, do we give them a certain amount of time to get that fixed so it doesn't look horrible for a long period of time?
And they have bigger structural issues underneath it because it's not protected from the elements?
Yeah, because right now it's just plywood showing. And it's a big area too. At least at first I thought maybe their sign got ripped off, but that's still hanging up.
It's not gonna be leaking into the building, it's just gonna be the facade.
Right, but it looks like hell.
Yeah, it does.
We'll send him a notice.
Okay.
Back with all the flooding we had east of town here the last couple of weeks, that get too close to the wells? Trouble there?
It got close, but it didn't get too close, so. Yeah, that was a lot of water. So, Mark said too, that's the highest he's ever seen it, so.
It was just amazing. I went to work that day and it wasn't even on that side of the road, and I came home and it was almost up to the well. I'm like,
Yeah,
that was a lot of water that came through.
How about your guy on Coleman?
the guy,
You get your sediment all over that pretty curb.
when I put in his water meter, I asked him about it and he didn't really give me a I'm gonna have it seeded by this day, but
At least silk fence up or something.
I can, go back and add the most field fence, but.
Yeah, it keeps coming down on your curb and.
Can we put that in place and charge back to the property owner? If they don't do it within a reasonable amount of time?
But I'm yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
Or at least that,
I did send them a letter that itemized all of these things, and they paid their sack and whack fees, and now they have a door, and they've boarded up some windows, so we'll give them so many days to get it seated, and give them a deadline. So that's to be done.
if they don't get it seeded, I think they at least gotta put that round stuff down to keep it from,
Yeah, they can do that too. It
whatever, just to keep it from,
Well, they keep driving on it's the problem.
right?
And that doesn't, I wouldn't worry about that on your project, right? I mean, they're driving on it, it's their problem.
Yeah, it's nothing the project's doing.
No, it's done with you guys, so. That's the way I looked at it anyway. So you guys did your part and they just keep wrecking it, so. But it just looks horrible.
All right, anything else for Zach? All right, anybody on council have anything?
I'd like to, I think I talked to Cindy about that, about over in, the Aho edition. I was looking at, a few different things, but I would like to try to maybe amend the ordinance, where they have to be stick-built homes, not modular homes in there. It's gotta be R what? What were you saying before?
Well, I'm gonna have you put a pin in that, because I think that's gonna be a real nice conversation at our workshop when we have the building, that building inspector come.
Well, no, I'm not talking about just because of the building code, but
Well, I think it dovetails into
That's fine.
into that.
I just wanna bring that up.
Okay.
And the EDA had some thoughts about those lots out there also,
Mm-hmm.
some conversations started.
Yeah. Yep. All right, well then, if there is nothing else, we'll go ahead and upcoming meeting will be a workshop, council meeting and workshop on June 8th. That'll be starting off with the building code and then starting that fun time of the year all over again, budgets. So, all right. Again, tough crowd tonight. Well, so, all right, with that in mind, I will go ahead and adjourn tonight's meeting. Have a good night.